Hello. We are back finally for another update for NIE. We have all of our menus working that are currently in the game, and they all work with two controllers, which, as you can see on screen already, they are both plugged in. This one, for some reason, doesn't shine a light, but it is the input controller for one. The one that's blue is player two, just like you see on the screen, because I use something called DS4 controller to connect my controllers. But most importantly today, we are going to be playing from an actual export of the game rather than just playing how we usually do, which is to say in the editor. So go ahead and click on that. There's really no reason for me to use my mouse, so we can kind of throw the mouse away because it's not really necessary. Because we can move everything around with just our controllers. We can use the other controller. We can use WASD. We can use arrow keys. The game is fully active now. You can do and move however you need. There's an options menu where you can also move around. This is the only one where you can't really use your mouse that well because if you hover on things, it doesn't actually capture them. Like it will go over it, but since they're using checkboxes rather than using buttons, which I could swap that back around, there's no on hovered state to on hovered event to really go off because you can only really have it then go off on an event tick. That doesn't really help much, but this does have actual save data. So I don't know if I've ever gone over that in my previous video, but we do have save data in the game now. So infinite, 3 rounds. Well, we'll set it to 60 seconds just to make it obvious that it is working. I guess 60 was our base before, so 90 is a better way of showing that we do have new stuff. So boom, go back. Because it does load your game save data wise on the beginning screen and the options menu. Training still does nothing. Exit now gives you this, so gives you a suggestion. You can also just press V or circle on the controller for PS4. Face button right. Replay tutorial. Once we have a tutorial in there, you'll be able to replay it. Credits, same thing. Once we have that loaded in the game, you'll be able to replay it. So instead, we can go to normal fight. This one actually took a while to get both controllers working because there's an event where you can press the back button basically to go back to player character one selecting, and now that works for both characters. Once again, you can move around with all your controls, WASD, arrow keys. You can do that on all menus, including the options menu. But on menus like this, mouse might spaz out a little bit, but you can hover over something and it'll select that instead. So mouse is very funky once you have two controllers plugged in. It also probably doesn't help that these controllers are both PS4 controllers and you can move the mouse with them. So at your own discretion if you're using two controllers, but it all works. And even if you click off of it, it just relocates it to its previously selected button. So boom, and then we'll have this one just go to random, which okay, that's a pretty decent chance we get the same character. Hopefully the volume's low enough, but we'll go ahead and ooh, I gotta click on it to press M, don't I? That's interesting. The mute button. Oh right, it's a debug button. It's not like an actual button in the game. That is my bad. Yeah, we do need to add audio controls. That is one of the next things to do. But once again, full control of this menu with both controllers. So yeah, all of that is working. You can resume the game. You can press just the special button again to resume the game. Return to character select. Once again, it's a lot of yes or no's. Restart match, yes or no. Move list. Once that's in the game, they'll show the move list for both characters that are currently in play. Exit main menu. Once again, just all this yes or no stuff. I thought I was on yes. Something going on with this one. It does like to be funky. But why are you being funky? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe there's something wrong with the yes button, or if you navigate over to it, it just navigates back to the other one, which is weird because it should just work. Yeah. So I don't know why that one was being funky. Character select. Maybe it's only when you move it. Restart match. Yeah, so there's something weird going on if you navigate to the right. So, because it should just be navigating and swapping. Whatever. That's something to look into. Or maybe I just have it backwards on which one. Yeah, I had it backwards in my mind which one selected. So we need to probably change the colors a little bit to make it more obvious of who's who for what's being selected. Because right now it's the slightly lighter one, but then it swaps. Yeah, so it's just weird right now. Obviously, if you use a mouse, it's a bit more obvious because you know where you're at. And we also need to probably create our own new mouse to add into the game. Oh, something happened to the volume. I don't know what that was. Either way, though, the game is working. It must have just connected one of the controllers as the speaker instead. Oh, there it goes. It must have been because we had our mouse off of it and started just doing some weird nonsense. But yeah, I guess I can exit to main menu again and show you guys that the other settings are working. If we, for whatever reason, wanted to make it just one round to win and 60 seconds, we can then go back to normal fight. There will, of course, be later stages in game, so now it's 60 seconds, and you only need the one round to win. So we will quickly just beat through the health. It is not a full screen move, though, but it is pretty close. Boom. And it just exits out as there are no win animations or lose animations yet. But there will be soon, because that was supposed to be part of this update in theory. But getting the controls on all the menus to work with WASD, both controllers and all that stuff, save data for options, it's just been a huge hassle getting this game to this point, and I'm so happy that it's now working. So, even though this update is pretty short, there is not much else left to say. We will just do one more showing of settings, so normal fight. And I'm even just using the second controller for all of this, which is incredible because for the longest time that was never going to work. And as of right now, yeah, the infinity symbol, quote unquote, is just an 8 sideways, so we do still need UI art for that, as well as UI art for the eventual super bars, though I am not sure how far down the pipeline that is, as there are a lot of controls and attacks I need to make for the characters regardless, because each character is going to have a jab, each character is going to have like 2 more special attacks, basically just an attack for each button. And then from there, we're going to have possibly grabs for everyone. If I find it really easy to implement, I will give everyone a grab. I'm not too concerned about adding grabs when the characters are 3D. It's when they're 2D that I'm concerned on how I'm going to be able to get that to work. Unless I find some way to basically just add bones to 2D characters for the times that are needed. It might even just be like an invisible version of that character doing its grab attack being spawned in by them pressing. Oh, I don't know what happened to the character E at that point, but at least it backed us out because the game was won, I guess. So that was a very interesting visual glitch. I would have to look at that again to see what the heck was going on there. It might have been just because of whatever button you're pressing. Oh, I think it was just because the character was like spawning in its 3D form. It doesn't wait long enough after the win conditions are met to open the level. It just kind of does it really early on in the process. That's what it is. That's what it is. So it does like the basically, or did you win the game so early on in the process that it just cuts you off? Easy peasy. And I think I've shown before that you can draw in the game. Yeah, I've shown that before. So this is where the game is at. I guess if I just move myself up to the top instead, you guys can see that the logo is always there on the screen. So that's pretty cool. Once again, mouse is trippy, so not fun times. We might just disable the mouse in general, but I don't think we'll do that because the mouse is still helpful. It's just really wonky once you have 2 controllers plugged in. Otherwise, it works normally. But controllers is kind of like the way you'd probably want to play this game anyway, as that's at least how I prefer playing fighting games. And there won't be that many controls anyway, but with how I have the control set up currently on keyboard, it's kind of crowded if you're playing with 2 controllers, and it's only going to get more crowded as we actually add more moves into the game. But yeah, that's where the game is at right now. Next thing of order is getting our win animations, lose animations. That means kind of like in between rounds for like when you get up, your victory animations for that, your lose animations for that. Not necessarily your win animations for the game in total, but we could definitely probably get some UI set up for it's basically like end of match. Oh, player one or player two won. Would you want to like replay the game or sorry, retry the match or go to character select or exit the game, the main menu, those options. So yeah, game is working. Game is being able to export. That was a huge process as well because the 2D art had a lot of weird settings you had to get that weren't automatically there, but now they are, or at least they're still manually there. So anytime I add a new animation in 2D, I still have to redo all that manual work on it. But the game is being able to be baked and sent out and played without having to be played in the editor. So NIE is making huge steps. Thank you so much for watching.